Hi crafty friends, I'm Debbie from Simply Special Crafts, and today we're going to talk about the 2018 Magic of Christmas kit by Hunky Dory Crafts. This is one of the 2018 Craftaganza kits. The Magic of Christmas by Hunky Dory Crafts is one of the 2018 Christmas kits by Hunky Dory. This particular collection includes 10 topper sets, and when I say a topper set, I mean each kit has a die cut and foiled sheet, and then each one of those die cut and foiled sheets has two matching pieces of cardstock. One has foiling and the other one is printed to match the topper sheets, and these are called the toppers. These are the ones that just pop out in pieces for you. So this is the Magic of Christmas. As I usually do before we get started here, I want to show you some of the other supplies that we used in making this video. So we obviously used the luxury set that has 10 topper sets in it. We used the Magic of Christmas inserts. The insert sheets, this one has 20 inserts. Each insert sheet, or each of the 10 topper sets has two inserts that will match the cardstock that Hunky Dory has created in the packet. We use Snowfall acetate. This happens to be the extra value 32 sheet pack. We have these available in packages of 5, 16, or 32 sheets, so they're at all at varying price points. It's a great material though. We used mirror board in 3 different colors. Now normally Hunky Dory will make a kit and it will be all silver or all gold or all specialty foiling. In this case, they foiled them in both gold and silver, and so I've used both gold and silver mirror board, and then I also used some rainbow mirror board. All are available in our store. Other Hunky Dory supplies, I used 6x6 card blanks. I also used 6x6 gatefold cards from Hunky Dory. I put this one in here to remind me to talk about that. They're temporarily sold out, but you could use 6x6 and make your own by simply changing where the fold line is. Score it at 3 inches on either side so that it will fold towards the center, and then use another piece of paper or a liner on the inside to hide the seam on the inside, or just take a 6x12 sheet of Adorable Scoreable, score it at 3 inches on either side, and fold those towards the middle to make your own gatefold card. We will have the Hunky Dory prepared gatefold cards in inventory again soon. I used foam squares. In this case, I used 5x5x2 foam squares. You can certainly use the foam squares of your choice. I used finger lift tape, and as you know, I'm a real fan of finger lift tape. And the non-Hunky Dory supplies to embellish my cards. I also used some Dazzle stickers. I used 4 kinds of Dazzles. I used the gold jewels and the silver jewel Dazzles. I also used the gold and silver glittered Dazzle jewel borders. And I used a sheet of Starform stickers. This happens to be number 351 in Silver Merry Christmas. Brittany pointed out to me that we're almost sold out on these sequins that I used in some of my shaker cards. These are wonderful little cup sequins, and then they have little, the punched out insides of the sequins were included also. So you have some little crumbs and some full sequins here. She pointed out we're almost sold out of those. So I'm also going to put on the supply list these new sequins that I just got in from Nouveau, and they're beautiful, and they'd be fabulous in shaker cards as well. So we have plenty of things to get you through your shaker cards. On several of my cards I use this white organza ribbon. We have this available in the store. I used shaker tape to make several shaker cards. I also used my needle nose glue bottle. As we've talked about in some of our other videos, we have these available in the store. They're just $2 for these wonderful little 1-ounce bottles. And I happen to put Cosmic Shimmer glue in mine. You can really use any PVA glue that's not too thick. You don't want to use like tacky that is too thick to come down the little needle nose. So you have that. And then here's the dies that I used on these cards. I used this wonderful set by Tattered Lace. I'm going to take just a moment and show you this set because I'm going to have a special promotional price available for a time on these dies. This is a beautiful deluxe set from Tattered Lace, and you know that Tattered Lace dies tend to be expensive, but look what you get in this set. This is the base piece for a center stepper card. They call it a mini, but it's actually a really nice size card. And then you get all of these matting and layering pieces that go along with that. So all these little rectangles, all these rectangles, these specialty pieces here. And then you also get now this one is a mini. You get a mini side stepper. And this is our base piece. It both cuts and scores the cardstock. And all of the wonderful layering pieces for that. I forget how many dies are in this set, but it's an immense number of dies in total. And the best part of this is I tried this with one of my smaller machines, and you can actually use this with a machine that has a 6-inch cutting plate, because this will fit in a 6-inch cutting plate. And these dies will also fit widthwise on a piece of, horizontally. They'll fit on a piece of adorable scoreable cardstock. So in several cases, I actually made 2 different card bases out of 1 sheet of adorable scoreable. You'll see that as we go, and I'll point that out, but this was a great die set for this, and you'll see I used it generously in this set. Here's some old favorites I also used in these sets. Many of you will have these already. The Merry Christmas die from D's Distinctively. Love it. There's a small one and a large one. Either one of them will work great for this. There's really not a tremendous amount of difference in the size of the two. So Merry Christmas from D's Distinctively. I love these cedar sprigs. They're wonderful. And this is also from D's Distinctively. These little poinsettias, I've used them year after year, card after card, but they're just absolutely perfect for card making. So they're a favorite. I keep going back to them, and you haven't seen them for the last time on these Christmas cards for 2018. You're going to see all 3 of these again. And I just got this, and I'm really tickled with this one. This is it's called Vintage Winter. It's from Amy Designs, and it's a series of little snowflakes. And I loved these snowflakes. And this is a really inexpensive die. I'll put it on the supplies list, but this is worth picking up because I use this very generously throughout this card set, and it was really a lot of fun, and it was perfect for these cards. So let's get busy looking at our collections here. Our first set today is called The Nativity Story, and this is just the cutest darn set you've ever seen. Oh my gosh. When you can get it and look close up at these characters, you're just going to find yourself giggling at these kids in this Christmas pageant. The camel is just spectacular, and the little kids dressed up as sheep, and oh my gosh, it's just too cute for words, and I had a lot of fun with these cards. So we've got this nice big generous topper, we've got these 2 toppers, we've got these little pieces which can sometimes be challenging. We did something really fun with those this time. We've got some greetings down here, sending lots of love and best wishes at Christmas to a very special star at Christmas. Peace and love Peace and Love on Earth, Silent Night, Holy Night. And we've got Merry Christmas repeating border up this side and this wonderful star border on this side. And I think I used just about every piece. We've got this fun background piece with a mottled yellow in the background and these two beautiful borders with the purple and green and the stars in the center. And look at this one. This was just great fun to do this set. I think I got 5 cards out of this set. And wait till you see what we did with these. This was just really a lot of fun. Okay, first, let's take a look at our first card that was cut from that center step card. I tried to explain to you that this would fit, that the center step die would fit on these cards, but I'm going to fold this back out a little bit to show you what I did. You can see that it's a close fit, but that die actually fits right onto the cardstock on the 8-inch side. And this die, for the little side stepper card, fit right here. So I actually had room to get both of these card bases out of this one sheet of Adorable Scoreable, and I still had this nice purple piece left on the side. So let's fold these back up and show you these cards individually. So I showed you that I cut this right out of the yellow. I used that repeating Merry Christmas border. Across here, see the nice little scallops you get all the way around the edges with that tattered lace die? I used that piece of purple border that was left over. I cut that in a 1-inch wide strip, and then I used that star border in the center of that to fill each of these 2 panels. Excuse me, I'm not sick. We have lots of smoke in the air from the California and Oregon wildfires, and it's kind of taking a toll on my breathing, so forgive me. I'll say that once and then I'll just move on each time I cough. But use that nice topper here in the center. Here's one of my snowflakes, and I wanted that to kind of represent the star. So I cut that snowflake out of gold mirror board, and I put one of the gold jewel dazzles in the center just to give it a little bit of extra glitz. And isn't that just about the cutest card you've ever seen? And when they sit down, these center stepper cards just sit so nicely. So there's our center step card made out of our tattered lace die. You could certainly do the same thing with a pre-made center step card if you wanted to. Here's the little side stepper card, and this is a miniature card, but I just think it's just too cute for words. As you know, as I've already shown you, I cut this out of the border side. And I used those 3 little tiny toppers down the side here, just leaving a little space between them. I overlapped my Silent Night, Holy Night just slightly over Joseph here in the corner. And then I used that full topper sheet. Originally, I was just going to use the piece out of the center, but then I decided that I liked it actually framed, so I glued that framed topper right in there, and it just didn't need anything else. I added my little snowflake / star here with the jewel in the center, and I totally love this card. I just think it turned out so cute. Next up, here's that larger topper from the top of our sheet, and all I've done in this one is taken a 5x7 card. I've covered it in gold mirror board. I have cut down a piece of this top part, and by making these into European A6 cards, I was able to cut this just a little under 4 inches, and that left me plenty of room to work with up here. I'll show you what I mean. But you can do that by the A4 card will actually cut into 4 separate A6 panels, because this is 8 1/4 by 11.7 inches, it will be just short of 6 inches and just a little over 4 inches wide if you cut that into 4 pieces, and that makes for lots of material for your card fronts. So by using a 5x7 card, covering it in my gold mirror board, and then cutting this one to 4.5, I had plenty of room to use this great big topper. Now the topper is in 3 pieces, so I punched the pieces out. I put the outer border up on some foam squares. I glued the center border flush to my card, and I put the center topper up on some foam squares, and I added my little star. Just didn't need any more than that. Lined it in some cute matching paper from the insert pack. I love this one. This one comes from here, and all I have done is just I've covered my A4 card. Excuse me, it's an A4, A6 card directly with my cardstock. Now, I've already said that this was just a little bit narrow, so I took this border, the sending lots of love and best wishes at Christmas, and I filled in the rest of my space across the top of the border. Then the only other thing I've done here is I cut out this little angel from the corner, and I used a thin line gold dazzle, and I created a string to suspend my angel from the ceiling. And isn't that just too cute for words? Love this. And here's my 5th and final card from this set. This one comes from here. Now, I've already said I cut this one 4.5 wide, so that left this one just a little bit narrower, right? I covered my 4x6 card with gold mirror board, used that slightly narrower topper in here, and just put this little saying up on some foam squares, added my little snowflake / star there with a jewel dazzle in the center, and I think this 5th card is just as cute as the others. These were really, really fun to do, and I loved this set. 5 cards from that set. Okay, this one's called Dachshund Through the Snow. Bryce and I just had a long discussion about whether they're called dachshunds or dachshunds, and he said, in this case, I think they're called a dachshund because this one says Dachshund Through the Snow, as does this border, but I've always called them dachshunds, so I don't know. Anyway, we've got this really cute topper here with 2 touching noses and a star in between, some nice little greetings and little accessory pieces. This nice border I've already mentioned. We've got this wonderful long stripe with the mountain, or the trees and the moon in the background. And we've got this wonderful little dachshund on a snowboard. That's so cute. Let's see what we did with those. Here's our first one. Here's that great big topper. In this case, I have created a shaker card. All I've done to create that shaker card is I took the outer ring here, and I put tape around my outer ring, and then I put a piece of snowfall acetate right on this ring. Then I took, after I put on my acetate, I took a piece of shaker tape and I followed this border around again. And I took a piece of white cardstock and I built up my scene in the back. That's using the center ring of this, whoops, wrong one. It's using the center ring here and the inside piece. I put those scenes down. I poured my glitter on it. I pulled my tape off of my shaker tape. I centered that over the top, and then I cut around that to create this little packet with my snow globe in it. And then I put as I said, I poured my sequins on there before I set that down on the scene. added my little poinsettias just because I thought it needed something there, and I thought that looked really cute drawing on the red from the scene. And I love this. Now, I took a 5x7 card. I cut myself 2 pieces of cardstock that are 3.5 wide by 7, no, that's not true, 2.5 wide by 7 long. And I cut the 2 pieces there. I scored my 5x7 card so that it would fold, and I put those pieces of cardstock on. Then I attached my little packet just to the bottom one so that this would fold up. I created my little stopper here with a piece of my border, and I put some foam squares under there, and I did my little wish upon a star on the inside of that one. And didn't that just turn out adorably cute? I love it. Okay, next up, my cards out of order here. Here's a second shaker card with the dachshund through the snow. The process for creating this was identical. Take your frame, break it in 3 pieces, take the outside frame, add a piece of your snowfall acetate to that, take your inside pieces, and in this case, because it was not an easel card, I glued my inside pieces down. I covered this, like my 6x6 with a piece of background paper, then I glued my inside pieces, both the far inside and then the second ring, down flush to my card, poured my sparkles on there, fit my frame over the top, and just put it right on there, and added a little greeting, and it just didn't need anything else. Matching insert with that little dachshund button. Good to go. Here's my third and final one from this set. Our little snowboarding dachshund, and dash on through the snow, border across the bottom. And that's just all that it needed. I added, in this case, I covered my A6 with gold mirror board. I tied myself a ribbon with some long tails, and I pulled my ribbon around the back and fastened it, and then put the whole thing down to my card so my tails to my ribbon are hid, and it's secured from the back side. Added matching insert paper. Done. Okay, our next one's called Snow Much Love. And out of this set, we managed to get 7 cards from one set of these absolutely adorable snowmen. We got 5 toppers here, plus some wonderful accent pieces and greetings. Look at this adorable snowman with a robin sitting on his on one hand, a package on the other. I love the little holly in his hat. All the details are here in hunky-dory. Lovely snowflakes up here, and then the green matching snowflakes below the yellow line there. Just beautiful. And look at this cuddly scene with a boy and girl snowman holding a package together, and this really beautiful silver foiling. This is a great set. I had great fun doing it. They go together really easily because they're so cute. They just don't need a lot of extras. I made all 7 cards in this case on European A6 cards on 4x6. You could do it on 4 1/4 by 5.5 US size cards, but if you do, you might have to supplement with a little outside cardstock to get 7 sets. In this case, I've taken my European A6, my 4x6 card. It's roughly 4x6, covered it in silver. Cut my little topper slightly smaller. This is going to be like 3.5 by 5.5 roughly. I added that to my covered card. I added a border at the top and the bottom, put this little snowflake or snowman image up on some foam squares. I used my little, my largest snowflake from that set as a background, And I put some foam squares on that little button, stuck it right in the middle, and I thought that made it just a really pretty accent for that little button. Here's our next one. Very similar. I've done exactly the same thing. I've cut my border in a couple strips here. This time I mounted it on red and used the purple borders. Put my snowman up on some foam squares. Here's one of the other little snowflakes. In fact, I actually layered 2 of the little snowflakes and put a rhinestone in the middle. That one didn't get lined. This one I put matching liner paper in. Next one, I just used that border exactly as it was because I thought it was so pretty. Added a little snowflake on either side, my Snow Much Love up on some foam tape, my little oval shaped snowman up here with some foam tape behind him. Same treatment with the snowflake, the little tiny button off of our topper sheet with some foam behind that. And in this case, I made my border just a little bit narrower, you can see. Lined it with matching liner, put one little snowflake on the inside just for a pretty accent. Here's my next one. Once again, covered in adorable scoreable. Cut my image out just like it was, and the only thing I've done to this is add 3 snowflakes off of my little snowflake die in silver. I just thought it was really cute just the way it was. Matching insert paper, little snowflake on the inside, absolutely adorable. Okay, this time I've used that Merry Christmas die cut. I've covered it again in silver mirror board. I've cut my topper just slightly smaller. That's right off the corner of my cardstock. Used that larger snowflake, put a pretty AB rhinestone right in the middle of that. And I used that D's Distinctively larger Merry Christmas. If you don't have that die and a larger Merry Christmas like this, think about using stickers, or you could do all kinds of things to decorate this space up here. But I thought this worked out really cute. Matching insert paper. In this case, I've taken my A6. I have covered it in silver mirror board. Again, no surprise there. I've taken my side border where I have that beautiful snowflake, and I cut that border in half. I split it into 2 pieces. Did this, took this piece then, brought it to this side, put my snowflake down, put some foam squares under this piece and this piece. I've also taken that 3-piece set, glued the center one down flat, put this piece and this piece up on some foam squares just for added dimension. But just that little trick of splitting that border and bringing the extra piece over and tapping it right in here, it looks so cute. This time, I left the border intact. Again, as long as you're using A6 cards, you can get 4 pieces out of one of those pieces of cardstock. So I had enough to do this one and this one out of that border. And this time I let the border stay full. I used one of my little gift tags off of the topper sheet, tied a pretty little bow using my bow maker. We have a video out there on using the Embellishment Addict bow maker. So I just tied a 2 or 3 layer bow. I wanted that to be fairly bold white out of my organza ribbon. And then I split my topper set just like I did on the last card, glued the center ring down flush, put this one and this one up on some foam squares, added matching insert paper. That's it. 7 cards. If my family voted on their favorite sets out of this kit, I think the penguin party time would be towards the top of the heap. We have this wonderful little almost pyramid in the background with all of these penguins all over the ice coming down, skating, fishing, doing all kinds of things there. And that's a nice 3-piece topper set. It says let it snow around it. Then we have all these individual little penguins and a couple little greetings here. Very, very cute. In this case, their first topper, or our first cardstock sheet, has 2 different background pieces for those guys. And then our second one is pretty universal. You could do just about anything with this. I love this with the little polka dots and then the blue and white snowflakes on it. I think that's just really beautiful. Let's see what we did with the little penguins. Got 3 cards from this set. First one I made using that beautiful universal background. I used part of my green strip up the side, covered a 5x7 card. I used that large topper set, broke it into 3 pieces. Of course, this one's on foam tape, this one's on foam tape, in the center, the green piece is glued down flat. I added one of my sentiments up here on some foam tape. I added a snowflake up here. I added one of my little penguins here in the foreground because I thought he would be cute standing out in front of the frame. And then actually, I believe that I had a little bit more space up here than I like, so I actually trimmed this card down just a tad from a normal 5x7. So I sliced a little bit off the top because I like the spacing better. I'm known for doing that. And my matching insert paper, just a little flashy snowflake just for fun. Here's number 2. I've taken this background right off of my cardstock sheet. I used this piece right here. No, this one. I used this piece right here and just covered my card. I didn't put any border on it because I wanted to get as much of that snowpath as I could, because there are a lot of penguins on that sheet. So I've got this little guy down here at the bottom fishing. He's got a snowflake for a lure. I thought that was adorable. You got 2 guys skating here. You got some skiing here. You got ice skaters up on this level, and this guy's going to take a ride on the balloons. I just thought it was so cute. Added a few little snowflakes just for fun. That's all I did with it because it just didn't want any more. Of course, all of my penguins are on foam squares. Put matching insert paper. I actually had a couple little penguins left over, so I put those on the inside, added some snowflakes and a little greeting that says Merry Christmas with a penguin face. So cute. Next up, this time I used this one. And I've taken my little penguins and just put them around wherever I thought they fit the best. These guys are sliding down the hill. They're so cute. This guy's waving by the Christmas tree. Used one of my big snowflakes with a AB rhinestone in the middle. Just so cute. Once again, this time I lined it with insert paper and it says me to you in little button greetings right off of the punch out sheet. I think I used every piece of the punch out sheet on these 3 cards. Very cute. This one's called Delightful Deer, and it is this pretty little fawn laying there with a little bird. And a little stream, trees, foliage up around the top, and this beautiful frame around the outside. We've got a nice border here. We've got another one. Now, doesn't this just cry out for shaker cards? Yes, I know I already made some. I made more because it just fit this pattern so well. And then we had this pretty little deer up in the corner, this pretty foliage border. And we have this beautiful background piece. My goodness. I thought that was gorgeous. See what we did with those. I already told you about these. Let's start with the shaker cards. I used the foliage background on a 5x7 card, and I just glued it directly to my 5x7. I created my shaker box just as I've described it before. I glued my inside topper flush to my card. In this case, I actually put my acetate. I used both outside rings. Don't know why, I just did this time. Used both outside rings, and I glued my acetate to the back of those. Then behind that, I put my shaker tape to set that whole thing up. I sprinkled my sprinkles on the inside, pulling it back away from my shaker tape a little bit. Put my image right down, centering it over the image in the background. And then I was almost done. I put these sprigs here because I thought they looked really pretty with the foliage. Added a poinsettia. This happens to have been made out of velveteen paper. I just thought that fit the elegance of this card, and added a few little snowflakes, and I love this card. It's one of my favorites. Foliage on the inside from the matching insert sheet. Done. This one I built on that background, that beautiful forested background. I'd done exactly the same thing in the formation of the shaker card, even up to and including leaving 2 rings on the outside. When I did that, I just made sure I put my tape over the die cutting line between those 2 so that those 2 are firmly affixed together, this inside ring and the outside ring. Glued my snowfall acetate, or taped it directly to the back, shaker tape behind that, positioned it over the image from the inside, sprinkle, 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 put down my shaker topper over the top. Look how you can use these little sprigs to just kind of add that element of nature to the outside of that card. I added a little Merry Christmas here from Starforms, added my little border, used that little floral piece off of the die cut sheet. Matching insert paper, love it. And here's my final little one. This time I have taken a 4x6 card. I actually covered my card in velveteen paper, and I ran a gold jewel border across the bottom and the top. I cut my topper just barely wide enough to catch that image. I made myself a little velveteen poinsettia. There's my sprigs coming out. And the only other thing that I've done here was that I took my little gold jewel dazzles and I added them to the berries and the wreath just to give the whole thing a big sparkle. Between that and the one inside here and the glittery border, it just really sparkles. Here's my matching insert. Done. Cute. 3 cards from that set. Next up is Robin and Friends. We have this big generous topper here, and notice the foiling's a little different in this. This is kind of an etched silver foiling. And we've got this nice topper here. We've got this nice greeting. We've got this kind of candy cane border here. This nice little topper here. These little birds here. We've got For Special Friends, Sent with Love, the little package, and You Have a Wonderful Christmas Time. Lots going on that topper sheet. So we have 4 good-sized toppers and a bunch of little accent pieces. Look here. I always feel like it's a bonus when we give us 2 toppers on a sheet. And here we have one corner, we have the other corner, and we made a card from each. And then we also made 2 cards from this one. We got 8 cards from this set. Let's take a look at how we did that. Here's the large topper first. And in this one, because I was making so many cards, I actually used a piece of cardstock I had left over from one of the other sets we completed, and it went great with this. The blue snowflakes in the background and the green tied really nicely with the little birds on a branch. So we just mounted that topper right up on here on some foam squares, Little snowflakes added just for fun. Done. Inside, sending warmest winter wishes. Now this particular insert, because I had so many cards from this set, I didn't have enough insert paper for everything. This is from the Trim Me pack. And you look at that beautiful foiling on that. This is right out of the book, and what you get with these Trim Me sheets on the insert papers is they actually come to you with guidelines printed on the back. And you can say, well, I'm going to use a 5x7 card. You just find 5x7 vertical format, and you follow the lines and cut that out. And you get a nice little border around the outside, and it fits your card perfectly. So you just trim those out to the size you want them to be. Isn't that fun? And that warm winter wishes fit that so well. All the little birds in their stocking caps. Here's the first of my cards that are made off of that corner piece. And just look what we've done here. It's so cute, but it's so simple. We've cut that corner piece, we've cut that whole piece into basically 4 pieces, right? We have covered our A6, European A6 card, that 4x6 with silver mirror board. We used some of those little sprigs. I like the little rhinestone berries here. Added the little button to someone special. And I thought that was just beautiful, just like that. Lined it with matching insert paper. That was fun. And here's the other one. Done exactly the same way, just the opposite. I've used one of their greetings up here, put my sprigs out from underneath it, mounted this whole thing on a card just covered with silver mirror board. Done. Here's the border across the top. I've just taken that, cut that piece, cut my cardstock in half, cut this piece in half, used each one as a topper. How cute is that? And added a few little snowflakes of my own just to kind of fill in the space and have some means of having personalized that just a little bit more. I just didn't think it needed anymore because it's got a lot going on with the little birds and the stockings already. Matching insert paper, doesn't get any cuter than that. Here's the other one, exactly the same treatment. This time I was able to fit a little topper in here and put some little sprigs of greenery, which I thought worked particularly well in these tree scenes. Put the little greenery coming out from under the little sentiment. Matching insert paper, done. Here's one of our others. This time I've taken the bottom of that piece of cardstock, right? Because here was my cardstock. Hold that up for me, honey. There's my big sheet of cardstock. I cut it in 4 pieces, 4 backers, and they all look great, don't they? So these cards came from that. Here's my toppers. In this case, I'm trying to figure out why I did that. I think this was cut just a little bit uneven, and so I actually put a little strip of mirror across the bottom. That's actually an error correction, and since I did it there, I did it a little bit at the top too. Here's my candy cane borders. I've got my little sentiment, got my little sprigs coming out from under it. Cute. Here's my other one. This time I turned that snowflake going the opposite direction. Can't tell. Till I tell you. You'll notice it's a little darker on this side, a little lighter on this side, but sometimes the sky looks like that, doesn't it? We've got this up on some foam squares, got my sprigs coming out. Of course I covered my card in a silver mirror board. Done. But I love these sprigs with the little trees. It's just so cute. Finally, this one, I got a little creative because I was out of cardstock entirely, but I still had a little piece of my insert paper left. So I covered my card in silver mirror board. I cut my insert paper to be my background. I used that smallest topper with a little package over here. Put in some snowflakes, little blue rhinestone in the center of that one. I actually layered that snowflake up a little bit. Used another piece of leftover, this is actually a piece of the insert paper from this set. And I had a little Christmas tree left over from the penguin set. I put him inside. 8 cards, 1 set. Our next one's called Polar Pals. Here we've got a little polar bear making a polar bear snowman. See his little stick arms, little rounded ears, and his scarf. So cute. And we've got this little snow bear here again. This time we've got 2 bears cuddling under the stars and the snowflakes. And this one says sending love and hugs. Love, hugs, and Christmas cuddles to someone special, wishing you a magical Christmas. We've got these little framed portraits here, little buttons. We've got this nice little border piece here. Here's the polar bear working on his snow bear again. And then we got this beautiful cardstock. I love the way that they ran the border down both the side and the top. And we were able to use that to advantage with our cutting die. Let's take a look at what we did there. There we go. I'll use that one more time. Here's where I've placed my die, right here. I cut my border to pick up that pretty foiling on the side. And again, you have to go real close, but I was able to put that die right here and cut that little card, taking advantage of that pretty side border and the bottom border. Then I used my 2 little portraits. I added my someone special here, used my smaller snow bear topper there, and added a little snowflake at the top, and I just think that's adorable. Okay, here's my other one. Where you find one, you'll probably find another one. This one has been cut from here, so I'm taking advantage of this bottom border, and I got that pretty pattern down here, and then I used the snow up above to make that center step card. And in this case, I've taken that border piece and just clipped it and slid that down so that it shows to the sides of my topper. Added my little snow button here, put this directly on. I covered that just a tad with this sentiment because I like the sending hugs and Christmas cuddles with the 2 cuddling bears there. But I think this card's as cute as they get. This time, I took the larger topper set. I covered a 6x6 card all in silver mirror board. And then I set my topper set just for fun and interest. Instead of just doing everything all squared off, I set my topper at an angle. And this time you'll see that because I used silver in the background, I used Rainbow Mary to cut these snowflakes. I added my little single tie bow there at the bottom. Oops. Lined it with matching insert paper. I think it turned out really cute. And finally, here's the corner of my cardstock. This time I've taken my A6 card. I've covered it in Rainbow Mirror board. Added my 3 snowflakes and my bow, and I just didn't think it needed much more than that. I thought it was really cute just the way it was. So I got 4 cards from that set. This is another really popular set with my family. Look at Mr. and Mrs. Claus on the sofa with a deer sitting at the end of the sofa and a squirrel looking over. And this pretty little snowflake with mistletoe. Looks like Mrs. Claus is coming in for a little kiss there. And this is intended to be a single decoupage image with all of these pieces. You know, we had to make more than one, which we did. And to a wonderful couple at Christmas, Merry Christmas, and all those nice elements on that page. Here's another really cute picture of the two of them. And this picture is identical to this one. So that's where we're getting our second background for layering our pieces. And then we've got this pretty stars and snowflakes with gold accent cardstock. Let's see what we did with these. Here's the one that was the actual topper. It's 4 inches wide and it fit perfectly on my card, so I covered my card with gold mirror board. This one's accented in gold. I cut this ever so slightly, the red cardstock, ever so slightly less than 4 inches is probably, in fact these cards are actually 4 1/4 wide, so I'll bet that is right at 4 inches, this piece, and just slightly less than 6. And then I put my topper here up on foam squares. I built this image up, and I think it's just super cute. Matching insert paper. Next up, here's the one that's off the corner of our sheet. And I do think, yeah, I did do something different here. I liked this accent at the top. When did I do that? Oh yeah, here it is, right here. I liked this piece here, and I wanted to show that off. So I did some manipulation here. I took this piece and just cut it out here, and I layered up my pieces. Then I took this piece and I used this much of it. And then you can see there's a little more checkered there. I used the checks at the top, I used the checks at the bottom, and just split that piece and moved my little checkerboard around so that I would have that pretty gingham look behind the card. I like the way that worked out. I thought it was fun. And I hope you still like me after you try to match that. Because I was playing. Here's a red sparkly organza bow. Matching insert paper. Okay, and finally, here's the little heart-shaped topper off our topper sheet. With this one, I played with that gingham again. Sorry guys. This time I followed around with my scissors on a piece of that gingham so I could use this much of my gingham at the top, and then I followed that, which I thought was particularly pretty with the contrast in the red. And then I put this, the remainder of this piece, because I only used a little bit of my gingham, I put this on some gold mirror board to create my own sort of topper, and then I put that there. So I just brought a little bit of extra gold down into the bottom by doing that. Matching insert, that's the 3 from that set. Here's another one where we've gotten 5 cards out of one set. Here's the decoupage image that they want you to build on. So certainly we used that. But we have lots and lots of pieces here, so we had to build some extras. Here's a very, very pretty piece of foiled matching cardstock. Look here, I always love it when they do this. They gave me 2 images to play with here, so naturally we're going to get 2 cards out of that. let's see what we did here. We'll start with this one. This one comes right off this corner. It actually comes from right here. Now, I mixed up my gold and silver on this. I actually mounted my background on a piece of gold before I realized that all of my accents had already been cut in silver. I mixed them. I thought it actually looked pretty good. This and the little trees, you can see the little trees have these little ornaments. I thought the pink ornaments looked particularly cute on those, and then adding blue rhinestones to my snowflakes. I used my large Merry Christmas, and you'll notice I have two trees. There was only one there. After I cut this off, I still had a tree here, so I cut that little tree out, moved it over, and glued it on right here, so I'd have two trees. So there's my first with this matching insert. Here is my second one, which I took from right here. And I just glued it right onto my European A6 card, my 4x6. Once again, I have gold foiling on here and I have silver snowflakes. That's okay. I added little pink, light pink balls to the Christmas tree that time. Matched with insert paper. Two. Here is the first of my two layering cards. I've taken my background right from here and just put my layered topper on it, and that's all I did. And you can see how many pieces I got here. So I definitely had enough pieces to do two. Here's my second one. Not surprisingly, it's been taken from here. The one thing I did do here was that I put down some adorable, I guess I did it on both of these, now that I look at it again. I used some snowfall acetate here. I was thinking I did something else to this. And it's anchored behind here, behind this card topper. So I've just taped it in place and then put my topper on top and taped my topper down so you can't see where it's anchored. And I did exactly the same thing here. I put my tape down, being careful to make sure that it would be covered by in fact, I actually put this on my snowfall acetate first, and then I put the tape where it would be hid by the Santa Claus, and put it over the top of my covered card. But I think that adds a little to get those extra snowflakes in there. Put a little snowflake on the inside just for fun. Whoop. And finally, we have this little round one from here. Covered my A6 in this case, gold. And then used silver snowflakes again. But and I have also covered my background here in snowfall acetate. I've done the same thing. I've just used the snowfall acetate over just the background sheet. And this background paper comes from up here. I actually used it the opposite way. They had it this way, but that's where that cardstock comes from. Matching insert, although it's very, very light, you don't see it much. That's those. Okay, last one here. This is Angel Wishes. Look at this beautiful, almost Victorian kind of look around this angel and her teddy bear. Got the angel and her horn down here, several nice size in between pieces, two beautiful border strips. We have another nice angel in the corner here with some very useful background. Look at this beautiful background on this one. I love that. With the gold and the silver. It's not, the gold is actually yellow, but the silver is actually foiled. Very, very pretty. Let's see what we did for this one. First we'll look at that big topper. I just used that on a 6x6 card. And usually I would layer more than one piece, but in this case I just decided to raise only the centerpiece. And put a little Merry Christmas. Could have had a bow or something had I chosen to do it, but I just thought that this was so pretty and so elegant, I just didn't want to do a lot of extra to it. Matching insert paper, used my little button off the topper sheet there just for a little extra pizzazz. This is a fun one this time. I've used a gatefold card. I've covered each side of my card with a 3x3 piece of my background paper. I've used this. I'm sorry, 3x6. Thank you, Bryce. Yeah. This is more snowy looking. This may have been, actually I think this background, guys, was from one of the other sets that I had left over, because this doesn't quite match this, although I could have used this. But I used this off a different card, so if it doesn't look like it matches, it's because it's one of the other leftover pieces. I took my topper set, I broke it in two pieces. I glued this one on top of my 3x6, only gluing half of it, and then I matched that over here, gluing this ring and the inside ring. You can see that there's two pieces here. I glued these two pieces flush on this side, and then I took my glue bottle and went around in the line between those two where it separates, and I added a little reinforcement to that because I didn't want those two rings to split and look funny after the card had been handled a little bit. And then I put my Christmas angel here underneath, just kind of as a little surprise when you open that. I often do that. And my little button Noel here, a few little snowflakes. Put my border strips down to just kind of bring this blue back into the picture. Added that same blue inside and used matching insert paper. This one says, wishing you peace, love, and joy, with that angel on the inside. Isn't that cute, the way that just kind of tucks through? I like that card a lot. It was fun to do something totally different. Next up, here is this pretty piece here. And I wanted to use this little topper, or this little tag, so I cut that extra long. I put this on a silver, I covered my 5x7 card with silver mirror board. And then I put this little topper and its bow here. And I looked and I thought it just needed a little bit more because it was kind of simple. So I went in with my dazzle borders and I added this scallop border all the way around. And then I added some little jewel dazzles just here and there. And now I really, really like it. I think it's really pretty. Matching insert paper. Now, right here I made a mistake. When I put my insert paper in, it just kind of got a little cattywampus. I had a little more space on this side than I liked. So I took that border strip. You know how I say never throw those away until you're done? I used this border strip right here to add a little foiling to the inside of my card, which you wouldn't know I did that to cover a mistake unless I told you, but it adds a little bit of elegance to the inside of my card and it covered up my error very well. And finally, I had to get one more in. I was having such a good time with these cutting dice, guys. And I made one more centerfold card, or center step card, using this angel. I cut a little piece of, actually in this one I actually double matted it. Unless you're right here, I'm not even sure you'd see it. I matted it with a super fine line of gold, Then I matted that with a thin line of silver. I put my Christmas blessing border across the bottom, cutting it just a little bit short so that I could keep my words full. You can't always do that, but when I can, I think it's fun. So I cut it a little bit shorter and let my edges show a little bit more. And then because I'd done the double matting on this, what I was trying to get at was pulling out that yellow for the gold and the silver foiling. And I made my star here out of Rainbow Mary, and then I put a gold center in it, and I put a silver jewel dazzle in the center of that. And I just think this looks so pretty and so elegant. All out of that little tattered lace. Mini center step card. Really pretty. That's it. This has been the Magical Christmas from Hunky Dory Crafts, part of the 2018 Craftaganza collection. We got more than 50 cards from this 10-topper set, so it's a great value, and we had a lot of fun doing these. If you like this video and would like to continue receiving notices of our videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and they'll let you know when a new video is posted. I'll give you one better. If you go to our website, www.simplyspecialcrafts.com, and scroll to the bottom of the page, you can sign up for our newsletter. Newsletter subscribers get a notice when new YouTube videos are posted, and I'll also send you a supplies list with links to every product that we used in the video, so you don't even have to look for them. I'll send you links to all those videos. I'll also send you notices of new shipments received from Hunky Dory and other favorite vendors, as well as other coupons and special values. So it's a great deal to sign up for our newsletter. So be sure you do that. I'm Debbie from Simply Special Crafts, and we'll see you next time.